Okay, lesson 5.3, we're going to continue here. Now we're going to move on to synthetic division, which is another way of dividing polynomials. It's a little bit faster than polynomial long division. Okay, and we'll show you this process right now. So we're going to use synthetic division to find the polynomial x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 4, and we're going to divide it by the binomial x minus 2. Okay, so here's what you want to do with synthetic division. Okay, this is how you set it up. You want to take, I kind of draw myself what I call a little backwards L, and inside this little backwards L, you're going to look at the binomial we're dividing by. And we're going to look at the constant in there, which is negative 2. Okay? Inside, and this is key, if that's a negative 2 right there, we want to put the opposite of that sign inside here. Okay? So we want to put a 2 there. Okay? All right, now I draw a line down a little bit below my L like that, and there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that here in a second. Now, in synthetic division, you deal with the coefficients. Okay? So notice I'm going to look at these coefficients now on what I'm dividing into, or what we call the dividend. We have x cubed, then x squared, then an x term, and then a constant. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the coefficients. On the x cubed, it's a 1. Okay, leave a little space over a little bit. My next coefficient on x squared is negative 4. Then on the x term, it's 6. And then you do need to put the constant in there as negative 4. Okay, so that's how I set it up. Again, the 2 goes inside here, opposite of whatever sign's in your binomial, and then all your numbers from your dividend. Okay, here's how you do synthetic division. You take the first term here, or the first number I should say, drop it down. So we're going to drop the 1 down. Okay, I take 2 and multiply it times 1, which is 2. That goes right here, below the negative 4. Okay, now I combine these right here together and put the result right down here. So negative 4 and positive 2 combined is negative 2. Okay? Now I do the same thing. Now I'm going to take my 2 that's up here, and I'm going to multiply it times my negative 2. And that result is going to go right here above the line, below the 6. So that's negative 4. I combine these. Okay, 6 and negative 4 combined is 2. Now I do the same thing. I take my 2 that's up here, kind of in my little backwards L, times the 2. And that gets me to 4. And then I combine these two, and that's 0. Now, let me explain what we've just done here. We've got 4 numbers down here. Okay, and you work backwards. This last number right here is the remainder, if you think about the long division problems we did earlier. So in this case, this problem, we have a 0 remainder. Okay, this is the constant term, the term without the variable. Okay, this would be, we're dealing with the variable x here, so this is my x term, or linear term, x to the first power, and this is my x squared term. And the numbers are the coefficients on those answers, and that's your result. So we're going to take this and we're going to write the answer to this problem. Okay? It's going to be 1x squared. Okay, so 1x squared, or just x squared. Oops. X squared there. Sorry about that. Okay, and then my next term is, I have a negative 2x, and then my constant is plus 2. Now this one does not have a remainder, so we can stop there at our constant. That's what we get when we divide. So basically, to summarize synthetic division is, there is no changing of signs. You don't need to change signs, because we put the opposite inside the little backwards L, and that's part of the reason for it. Okay, your last term here is always your remainder, and then you kind of work backwards. Okay, to get your other terms. From the remainder, it's the constant, and then the variable to the first power and the variable to the second power. So there is our result. It's the same thing we would have gotten if we would have done long division. Okay, if you want, you can try long division on the problem and see if you get the same answer. Okay, let's do another one here. Okay, so we're going to use synthetic division on this right now. So we're going to set it up here first. Okay, notice I've got a -2 inside there of my binomial. So in my backwards L, I'm going to put +2. Okay, now I want to work backwards here. Or not work backwards, but I want to write down my numbers. So I've got 5 is my x cubed term, and then -13 is my x squared term, then my x term of 10, and then my constant of -8. Okay? Leave a line, because we got to write numbers above this line, so leave a little room there when you draw your line. Okay, so that's how you set it up. Drop your first number here, which is the 5. Okay, multiply 2 times 5, okay, which is 10, that goes here. Combine these two, that's -3. Multiply the 2 times your -3, which is -6, that goes here. Combine, 10 -6 is 4. Multiply 2 times 4, that's 8. Okay, combine those, we get 0. There's my remainder, and I would suggest writing this stuff down. There's my remainder, so this is another 0 remainder problem. This is my constant. This is my x term, so x to the first, and this is my x squared. So let's put the result right underneath it this time. We have 5x squared, 5x squared, minus 3x, and then plus 4. And there is the result doing synthetic division to that problem. Much faster than long division. Okay. Now we're going to go on here, and we're going to deal with first coefficient other than 1. Okay. And anytime, so notice we don't have, so what I'm talking about there is, notice on the x right there in the binomial we're dividing by, we have a 2. It's easier to use long division. Okay, and I would suggest using long division. Even though it's a longer process, it gets a little tricky to try and do synthetic when that coefficient there on the x is not a 1. So we're going to use long division. Okay, so we're going to set it up long division. So I have 2x plus 1, and that's going into this. Now, one other thing I want to point out. Okay, 8x to the 4th is your first term here. Now notice it goes from x to the 4th to x squared. You see how you're missing x cubed, and this is very, very important. Okay, so far in any of the problems I've done, synthetic or long division, we have not been missing any terms in between. Here we are. So what you need to do is you need to fill that in with plus 0x cubed. It will not work if you go right to minus 4x squared. Okay, just put a coefficient of 0. It's got to be a place filler for everything to work out. You need to do that even if you're going to use synthetic division on the same problem. You'd have to put a 0 in that spot. Okay, then you have minus 4x squared plus x and plus 4. Okay, we're not missing any other terms, so notice I'm going from x to the 4th to x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and my constant. Okay, so very, very important that you fill in any missing terms. Okay, so now I ask myself, how many times does 2x go into 8x to the 4th? Or 2x times what is 8x to the 4th? Well, 2 times 4 would give me the 8. X times x cubed would give me the x to the 4th. So now I take this, going back to long division here, I take what I just wrote there, which is 4x cubed. And I am going to multiply by 2x. I'm going to rewrite this here. I'm going to take 4x cubed, and I'm going to multiply by 2x plus 1. Oops. Okay, so that I get 8x to the 4th, which we want to have happen there, and then plus 4x cubed. Okay, now remember with long division, you're going to subtract. How you deal with that algebraically is you change the sign, so that becomes a minus. That also becomes a minus. 8x to the fourth minus 8x to the fourth drops out. 0x cubed minus 4x cubed is negative 4x cubed. Okay? Remember we had that place filler there of 0x cubed, and you have to do that for everything to work out. Drop your next term, so we have minus 4x squared on here. Okay, now I ask myself, how many times does 2x go into negative 4x cubed? Okay, how many times does 2x go into negative 4x cubed? Okay, well 2 times negative 2 would give me the negative 4. And then I need x cubed, so it's going to be x squared on here. Okay, so now I take negative 2x squared, and I'm going to multiply it times my 2x plus 1 binomial, which ends up being negative 4x cubed minus 2x squared. Okay, now I'm going to subtract, so I change the signs. That becomes a plus, that becomes a plus. Negative 4x cubed plus 4x cubed drops out. This becomes negative 2x squared. Drop your next term. Keep the sign that's with it, so it's plus x. Repeat the process over again. How many times does 2x go into negative 2x squared? Well, that would be negative 1x. Now, you don't have to put the 1 on there. I'll put it on there here to start. So now I'm going to take negative 1x, and I'm going to multiply that times 2x plus 1, which is negative 2x squared minus x. Okay, so negative 2x squared minus x is what we have there. Okay, we're going to change the signs. So this becomes a plus. This becomes a plus. Okay, and let's move ourselves down here a little bit. Okay, so these drop out. Negative 2x squared plus 2x squared. I now have 1x plus x after I change the sign, so 1x plus 1x is 2x. Carry down your last term here, which is the constant. So I have 2x plus 4. Now I ask myself, how many times does 2x go into 2x? Well, that's plus 1. So I take 1 times 2x plus 1, which will just be 2x plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to get 2x plus 1 right here. Change the signs. Change the signs. 2x minus 2x drops out. I have positive 4 minus 1, which is 3. This is my remainder. So you put the 3 over your 2x plus 1 remainder. So you put the 3 over the 2x plus 1 remainder. Sorry about that. So right here, we're going to have plus 3 over 2x plus 1. And that would be your answer, what we have right here.